Alright already, it's another video. In case you're wondering what's been happening with this whole theme of marriage and talking about women, if you've been seeing a sequence of videos where things have just been kinda different, I hope you welcome it. Let's jump into this video and I'll explain later what's happening.
Oh, now we...
You're mimetic. Women are just mimetic. They mimic each other. When Kim Kardashian is dressed like this, every other girl's gonna dress like this.
Like Kim Kardashian.
You understand? It's mimetic. So that's how women are. Now, when a woman is unhappy and other women are happy, it's not in sync with the mimetic nature of women. So they want to make other women unhappy. Look at it like this: Taylor Swift, Adele, all of them. What do they espouse? It's a jilted woman who is, unlucky in love, and you know what I mean, keeps finding the wrong guys over and over again. And that's because her fan base, majority of them, they go through ups and downs with the relationship, and that's what they want to relate to.
So he's talking about mimetic desire. If you don't know the whole reason why fish, if you've ever seen fish, how they swim like in coordination in a school. If you've ever seen how group animals tend to run together and just copy each other how they run and behave the same way, human beings, as individualistic as we might like to think we are also herd creatures. We are just like sheep. We like to be in a collective sort of thing. We like being in an organization. We like taking an example from the one who's nearest us. If somebody's doing this, maybe it's right, maybe I should do it. You see? And we end up now forming what we know as a society and norms and habits, because one starts a trend and the rest follow. So that is mimetic desire. It's the desire to be like the one next to you, so that you don't feel like you're too different, so that you don't feel left out of the group. And so mimetic desire is also responsible for why one woman would want another woman's man. Same for men wanting other men's women.
So now she needs to project this. When Adele finds happiness or whatever, all her fans are unhappy. She's trashing this guy.
They don't
Taylor
want her to be
Swift,
happy.
She found this new football player, thingamajig. Anything he does, the fans are like, oh, leave this guy right now, leave this guy. And that's what women do. So they want her to be alone just like they are.
Oh,
you know what
goodness.
I mean? I made the mistake of like making a love album with my wife. You know what I mean? It's called Songs in the Key of Love. It's about, celebrating love and everything else. And trust me, yeah, it came out with Wanda Sama, everything. So all the fans and everything else, all they wanted was her to be unhappy. They would troll anything that had to do with me. They would attack her on social media just so that she can leave your husband, whatever. If he's successful, they don't give a damn. We want you to be alone just like we are. We want to be miserable. And that's the content that women are being fed. The comments, the DMs, everything is like, oh, hate men. You need to be single and alone and miserable. And there's a lot of
ladies, are you
women
listening? Married women
creating this attack. There's women that are turning to being sangomas right now. Majority of the reason why they're being sangomas is to bewitch people's relationships. There's women that go to sangomas all the time. The majority of the money that they spend at the sangoma is not to make money. Women don't go to sangomas to say, oh, I want to be rich, I want to snake. They want a man, or they want to destroy a relationship. It's either or. You understand what I'm saying? And it's all part of the same thing. They want a man who's already in a relationship so that they can bring about some other woman's unhappiness.
You heard that? So now we had a lady in another video, Miss Amanda, who spoke about how her husband made her soft. And now in this video, she's talking about how when she was in a group of people who weren't married, who weren't as happy, those people, for some reason, wanted her to behave in a way that was appealing to them but repulsive to her husband. So this mimetic desire, the desire to have what somebody else has, it may not show itself directly like that. Some people may find very tricky, very mind-bending ways to make you become unattractive to your husband, seemingly trying to find group favor with them. Kanti, it's so that you can find favor with them, lose favor with your husband, so that they can enter. Let's listen to what she has to say.
There was nothing that they loved about me being sweet, so I morphed and I altered myself to fit the personality of toxic people in order to fit in. The main reason why they wanted me to be like that is because their example of a woman was their bitter mothers. Let's just call it like it is. Their moms were bitter. Their moms wore the pants in the relationship, or their moms prided themselves on being this strong, independent woman. I eat, all of that. They prided themselves on that. So I didn't know the root of why they wanted me to be something different than God's design for me. But honestly, that was the devil after me.
So there we are. At the beginning of the video, I said that let's watch it and I will explain why these videos are appealing and why you've been noticing a series of videos on this topic about men and women and marriages. What exactly is going on? Well, for one, I am a married person. My days as a member of the youth are coming to an end. I'm 34 years old. I'll be 35 and then I'll be in the full adult category. I've got 2 kids and I've got a third on the way. So I'm daddying and entering this whole segment of life. And I just find it impossible to not engage in this topic. It's a very popular one, and I'm not engaging it for its popularity. I'm engaging it because if you're going to get on YouTube, for example, you need to have subject matter expertise. There needs to be something that you are exceptionally good at or something that you know very, very well that you can then give as information to people, either informatively or via in entertaining ways. So infotainment, that's what YouTube pretty much is. And so I've explained now that my brand is realism, and in one of my previous videos I spoke that I'm coming out of some PTSD. I'm coming out of some relationship stress and relationship trauma that I've been having with my dear wife who's right here. But thank God, bless us, we are all good now. Indeed we are. And so these videos, how people on the outside influence, married people to separate. We have an actual real example in our marriage that happened where for some reason people were trying to switch up and change my wife's character and my wife's personality. It was friends, it was influences from here and there. And so I felt that this video is important as part of this series of videos where I'm speaking about the traumas that I suffered, the PTSD that I'm slowly coming out of. I feel that it's important for me to point out one of the key pestilences. As I've opened up and said that there were issues going on and they were constant, this was one of them. It's a really, really, really serious issue for people to influence a marriage badly. Baby, pick up the mic for a moment, and if you can just dive in and share a real world example, as Amanda has spoken about how people wanted her to fit a certain narrative, and these kind of people normally come from a certain background and they want to see their life repeated. Of course, it's mimesis. If you saw family member or parents going through a certain thing and you've gotten used to that as being cool, you now want it for yourself and you now want to extend it to other people, even if it's poison, even if it's going to kill them, even if you're trying to benefit from their death. That's just what people do. Highlight me, baby.
Yeah, I think this one is a very profound one, and it speaks to my experience personally, because number one, I grew up in a society where I was fed this kind of a doctrine. I remember when I started being in a very committed relationship with you, I grew up with some people from my previous whatever life.
Yes.
Right. Whom sometimes would question that, do I really want to depend on you? I think it was after we had our son. Yes. And they asked me, do I really want to depend on you? Because I started now developing this thing of my boyfriend this, my boyfriend that, my boyfriend this, my boyfriend that.
So they would start calling you back to independence.
Yeah. You see, and whenever maybe you be buying me certain things and I'll be going with those things to them, and they'll be like, this is what my boyfriend bought me, this. So they're like, okay, wait,
when are you gonna get that for yourself?
Exactly. Do you really want to depend on a man? Why don't you go to school? You're still very young to be in a committed relationship, this and whatever. So I've seen that consistent toxic influence, and at some point I can surely tell everyone that I now became a sabotage of my own destiny,
Okay.
of my own relationship, of our own marriage. Because why? I wanted to fit in. Because whenever I would engage with people, I would engage from a point where I'm a married woman and I depend on someone. But when I step out of the world is a vile place. People are being taught to be independent. As the woman says, the mothers wear the pants in their own homes.
Yeah.
You see.
So you were kind of given that
I
as
was
well.
given
to
that
step
as
up
well
and-
to step up, and not allow myself to be
a soft woman.
brainwashed to be brainwashed or to be a soft woman who depends on their man.
So brainwashing is settling into a marriage and being a married woman. That's brainwash.
It's like I remember at some point someone would even tell me that you need to let your guard down. You need to really live your own life. You see, and this came from a person that I really, really trusted. And I remember at some point there was also a very nasty comment that I didn't understand, where someone told me that I need to be just like them because they no longer have hearts for men. You see.
So somebody like literally told you that.
Yeah, like I need to have a hardened heart towards my spouse. I need not to give you my full love. You see, and this was a time when we're actually going through difficult times, and when you are given such an advice from people that you really, really entrust with your life, it starts becoming very blurry. So what this lady is saying is very profound. What Nota is saying is very profound, right? Because when you think about when I had now gotten out of that cloud where I am right now, I look back and I'm like, but wait. Were those advices really, really, really realistic?
Yeah, what kind of advice was that?
Yeah, what's going to happen to my kids? What's going to happen to everything that I've worked hard for in this relationship, that I've invested in this relationship? Over what, you see? So it is very true that there are other people who grew up in toxicity and it's all they know and it's what they want to feed, And we are out to just break those curses to say, no, guys, it's not right to be feeding toxicity and to people's relationships. It's not right to be feeding toxicity and to young girls and to young men.
Yeah. It's not right to give people who are committing themselves to a long-term relationship catastrophic thoughts about what is going to happen. It actually has a term. It's called catastrophizing.
Exactly.
So this is when you live in a constant fear that this may not work out.
Exactly.
There are people who surround themselves around you and tell you that, hey, we know this. We know where you are going. It's going to end in tears.
Yeah.
We're going to come back later and tell you that we told you so. Listen to us now while the time is still here.
And it becomes very difficult for you to serve in that kind of a kingdom, you see. It becomes very difficult for you to serve in a relationship or in a marriage when you have such influence.
And you actually sabotage the relationship more than serve it.
Exactly. You actually sabotage. You're like, let me just ignite the fire quickly.
You keep poking it.
Yeah.
Setting it on fire, seeing if it's gonna burn.
Exactly.
Because people told you this is gonna go up in flames.
And yeah, that shouldn't be the way. So I learned the hard way. You see, I learned, and I'm glad that I went through that kind of experience.
Okay. All right. It's been a video. We'll see you in another one. If you've been enjoying this, click like, click subscribe, and share the video. I hope you are appreciating my transition as I now, this is not going to be a channel wholly dedicated to talking about marriage, etc. But it's something to embrace for now while I'm coming out of disastrous time with my wife and I'm now coming into a victorious time. I like to just embrace it, witness it, talk about it, close files of the past and open up new chapters going forward so that once I move forward, I know that I've, crossed the T's, dotted the I's, tied loose ends, and now I'm welcoming a brand new life away from old nonsenses. May God bless you so much.